It's that time. And it's that place. Saturday Sanga, Sangis. Welcome, everyone. Let me make one adjustment. I think nice if you see the background painting. Painted by Kusumika Devidasi. Yeah. Yes, welcome everyone. I'm speaking from the home of Bhakti-rasāmṛta Prabhu, who is sitting just over here, and his good wife, Shakti Hladini, or is it Shakti Ahladini? Shakti Ahladini. Yeah. They are kindly hosting me the last few days, and it's very nice, very, very shanti, and nice, very nice company. So we can start. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilita Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rūpa Kadamahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Prema. Well, for a few moments there, Audarya Janani was sharing with us, I think it must be Vienna Ratayatra. But now I think she's turned off her phone. So as we speak, it seems, Ratayatra is happening in Vienna. So the priests and officials of Jagannath Puri Bless their hearts. They will not be happy to know this because they are convinced that Rath Yatra has to be, Jagannath Rath Yatra has to be only on the day that it happens in Puri. I think they should be happy that it's happening all over the world. In different times, why not? Jagannath, he's Lord of the universe, and he's Lord not only of the space of the universe, but also the time of the universe. So if he's having what Srila Prabhupada calls a stroll is a kind of leisurely walking, like when you go to a park and you have a pleasant walk, that's a stroll. They should be happy that the Lord is strolling about the universe in different places and different times. Why not? In any case, it's going on, whether they like it or not. Yes. So, welcome everyone. Let's jump into Chaitanya Mangala, shall we? Why not? First, we will share the screen. Make sure I have. Yes, that should work. So then sharing. And that's here somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So little Nimai is a mischievous little Nimai. Mischievous means troublemaking. And I don't know why, but it seems that Mother Shachi is not happy with one activity of little Nimai with his friends. His friends are, what are they doing? They're imitating monkeys. What's wrong with children imitating monkeys? I don't know. Maybe she thinks we are Brahmins and Brahmins don't do silly things like that. Well, she heard that this was going on and she went to where the kids were. And I don't know how this is imitating monkeys, but it says Janur upare, Janurohe ekapare, Dakia janani dake utkoto shobade. With one knee up and the other knee down, he, the Lord, stood on one foot. Seeing this, Mother Sachi loudly called to him. Okay, so he's standing there on one foot, one knee's up, one knee down. Apparently, this is not appropriate for respectable Brahmins. So she called to him, stop that, and he runs away. And catch him. Shachi calls, and he keeps running, and she keeps running. And then Lord Gora ran home. He ran home, and now he's going to cause more trouble. Okay, verse 76. This is page 203 in the version that I have. And it says, Gharamodye Jatabhando Bhajana Achila Dhar Dhar Korite Sharva Achadi Mangila. Once home, he grabbed every pot and every vessel he threw and broke. It says everyone. He threw and broke everything. Hare Krishna. Now, in this section that we're reading, there's a good number of words that I don't know. Anyway, Garamadye, so in the Gara, in the house, Jata Banda Bhajana Achila. He took all the banda, I guess is pots, and bhajana is not bhajana. I guess he took them up, he grabbed them. Dar, dar, I think that's the grabbing, dar, dar, holding. Dar, dar, korite. Sarva achari bangila. Bangila would mean broke, he broke. And achari, I feel like I should know that word, but I don't. So, yeah, why is he doing this? Why is little Nimai, he's we say in English, throwing a temper tantrum. I guess every parent knows about children throwing temper tantrums. Yeah. Sometimes they just want to demonstrate how angry they are. Verse 77, Nasai anguli shachidandaya chahe hetta vadana kori prabhu vishambara rohe. Nasai anguli. She rested her finger on the side of her nose. Shachi wanted to punish him. Shachi dandaya chahe. So chahe is wanting. In Hindi, chahiye is it is wanted, it is desired. And danda is, of course, punishment. And dandaya, probably causative form, dandaya. Heta, I don't know that word. It's a retroflex ta. Heta varanakori Prabhu Vishwambar rohe. Lord Vishwambar bowed his head in shame. Okay. Varana, I think it's face, but okay. He bowed his head, bowed his face. Heta varanakori Prabhu Vishwambar rahe. Rahe means keeping, remaining. He stays, I guess he stays with his head down, so indicating feeling shame. 78, Otibara kampita huilalajja bhare rodana karai Prabhu ashu nitra jhare. His whole body trembled in shame. As he bowed his head, tears streamed from his eyes. So, ati boro kampita. Kampita means shaken. Yeah. Romancha kampashru tarangavajo kampa. And boro is very much, and ati boro is very, very much. So ati boro kampita hoila lajja bare. Lajja is embarrassment or shame. Bare, I think, is being full of. Rodana karaye prabhu ashunitra jare. Rodana is crying. Karaye, doing crying. Karaya. Prabhu, the Lord. Ashru netra jare. Ashru is tears. Netra is eyes. And jare, I'm guessing, means flowing. So tears stream from his eyes. So he's just made a big mess. He's broken all the pots in the house. And now he's embarrassed and now he's crying. Hare Krishna. Okay. 79. Chandrer upare jeno kanjanavasya ugaraye motihar jamona giliya. His face was like the moon. His eyes were like restless kanjana birds. Kanjana, what's a kanjana bird? His tears were like strings of pearls. So Chandrer upare, of the moon, upare I think is above or rising. Jena, such like that, kanjana vasya, vasya, maybe being restless or something. Then ugaraye, I don't know. Mati is pearls, and hara is a necklace, a string. So moti hara, gemon, such, gilia, being crying, I don't know. Okay, 80. Dekki shachi gora mukha prema purna hoya Aisha kole kari bole mor dulalia. Gazing at Lord Gora's face, Shachi became filled with love. So even though he's just broken all the pots in the house, making a huge mess, and, expensive to replace everything, but now she's just filled with love. Daki, so seeing Shachi Goramukha, the face of Gora, Prema Purna, full of love, Hoya, she became. Aisha Kori. So embracing, hugging. Kole, I think it means on the lap. And Aisha, I think it means such. So such, being in such a mood. Kole Kari, literally making a place for him on the lap, something like that. Bole mor dulalia. She said, my bad boy. Bole, she spoke, mor dulalia. So, another speculation here, but we often hear dulala is expression of affection for a boy. And it seems to integrate into this notion of affection a recognition of being bad. The do, I think, is the bad part. Deuce, do, lala. Dulalia. More dulalia, my little rascal, something like that. Yeah. 81, kore dhari, kole kori, Bole Sachirani Gora Sharavasha Jau Tomara Nichani. Holding him in her arms, Mother Sachi said, I should keep you away from all these things in the house. Yeah. So kore dari kole. Holding him on her lap, in her arms. Bole, she said, Sachirani said, Gora Sharvasa. So all the things of the house, Sharavasa, Jau, I should distance, or Tomar Ichani, from your reach, maybe. 82, E motte nana lila, koregora hari, mujite na pare, shachiputre chaturi. In this way, Lord Gora Hari enjoyed many pastimes. E motte, in this way, nana lila. Nana means various, lila, kore, did, Gora Hari. Shachi had no power to understand her son's mind. Mujite na pare. So, mujite, understanding, na pare, not able. Oops. Shachi putre chaturi, her son, Sachi's son's chaturi, translated as mind, chaturi. I wonder about that, where that comes from. Seems like it would have something to do with the number 4, but I don't know. Chaturi. Okay. 2 more verses. Lokaveda agochar charitra opar uratya janila sachi nabuji bevar. The shoreless ocean of his pastimes is beyond the knowing the Vedas. Should be knowing of the Vedas or of the world. Sachi had no power to understand his wild arrogance. So Loka Veda Agochar. Loka means of this world, Veda of the Vedas, Agochara. Gochara means literally the cow pasture, place where cows wander. And agochara means beyond, so beyond the range, beyond what you can comprehend. Charitra, activities apar, unlimited. Lokaveda agochar, charitra apar. Udhatya janila sachinamuji pebar. Let's see. Udhatya janila. So janila is to understand. Janila is to understand, to know. Udhatya, I don't know. Sachi nabuji. To understand, Vebar. 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 Udatya could be his arrogance. No, I'm just guessing. Or else Vebar. Okay. Sudridha Chanchalaputra Janila Nimai Dukkhavave Shachi Devi Shonare Gosai. She knew her son Nimai was very restless and mischievous. With an unhappy heart, she meditated on the Supreme Lord. Sudrida, chanchala means restless. Sudrida means very firm, so very firmly restless. Putra is son. Janila, she knew. Oh, maybe that's, yeah, Udatya Janila, she knew. No, she knew, but she didn't understand. Putra Janila Nimai, she knew she knew her son is restless and mischievous. Dukkhavave, in a sad mood, Sachidevi Sonar Gosai meditated on the Supreme Lord. Interesting. Sonare. Okay. That's, it's not sun, as in moon and sun. Sonare Gosai. Well, as I said, a lot of words here. I don't know. So let's try to sing, shall we? First, we change audio, musicians, share. I just lost track. Acrobat there. Okay. Okay, we have Bhakti-rasāmṛta Prabhu on Mridanga. And we have his harmonium here. So let's see what happens. Madhye jata banga bhajana achila. Madhye jata banga bhajana achila. Dar dar korite sarva achari bangila. Dar dar korite sarva achari bangila. Nasai anguli sachi dandaya chahe. Nasai anguli sachi dandaya chahe. Eta vadana kori prabhu vishrahe. Eta vadana rahe. Atibana kampita oila lajjabhare. Atibana kampita oila lajjabhare. Rodana kraya prabhu ashunetra jare. Rodana kraya prabhu ashunetra jare. Chandra Jena Kanjana Vasiya. Chandra Jena Kanjana Vasiya. Ugaraye Mati Jamana Daki Jao, tomara nita vasa, jao, tomara nita. He mata, nana lila, kore gorahari. He mate, nana lila, kore gorahari. Ujite, napare sahachi, putrera chaturi. Ujite, Nabhare chi putrera chaturi Lokaveda agocha charitra apar Lokaveda agocha charitra apar Uratya janila sachi nabhuji bhera Uratya Janila Shachi Navujiveva Sudrida Chanchala Putra Janila Nima Sudrida Chanchala Putra Janila Nima Dukkha Ave Sachi Devi Shonare Dosa Dukkha Ave Sachi Devi Shonare Dosa Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Rama Premanande. We were joined just at the end with some very expert kartal playing by Madhava. So we had a complete kirtan band here. Yes, in memory of the Nityananda band.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, I meant to say before, where are we broadcasting from? From the beautiful city of Subotica. Haribol! A city which I confess I read the article in Wikipedia about Subotica. Its history goes back 5,000 years. Yeah, to the Bronze Age. Did you know that? 5,000 years. Yeah. Okay. Where are those people? 5,000 years. Anyway, so again, welcome everyone, all of you joining from so many places. It's been quite hot last few days in Europe, and including Serbia. But now it's cooling off, so we're cool enough that we can speak instead of just perspiring or something. Let's see, where shall we start? Some things I have to share. Some well, some sad news. First is that my godbrother Dhirasanta Goswami has departed the world. I had absolutely no idea that he was in a condition, in a critical condition. So the news came to me as a complete surprise, as we say, out of the blue. Dhirasanta Goswami, I don't know, I met decades ago. He was from England, and he was preaching in England and also in Sweden, quite a bit, in Scandinavia. For a long time, as a householder, he was doing school programs, as I remember. He had a way with young people, apparently, and he would get, he had a kind of regular routine of visiting different schools and sharing Krishna consciousness one way or another. I never attended any of those events, so I can't describe how he did it. But apparently he had a way. And then in later years, he's been, I don't know, for decades now, he's been preaching in the Balkan states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Russia, as far as I know. And because he's kind of always in such places, I haven't seen him for years, except the last time was maybe in Mayapur. I remember now, we had this event. Every few years, they have a kind of special Sanga in Mayapur for sannyasis and gurus and GBC members. Sounds a little elitist, but that's what it is. And I was asked to give morning Bhagavatam class to these senior devotees. That's quite a kind of a challenge. But it was, I think it was both of us. So Dhirasanta Maharaj and myself, I guess we shared. First he spoke and then I spoke. And if I remember right, Anuttama Prabhu commented afterwards, what a huge difference in mood we had. Dhirasanta is kind of very, let's say, a traditionalist in some ways, which is not to say he's not a very sweet devotee, very sweet devotee. And then I was speaking something, I guess, rather untraditional. Mm. We had him, I think we had him, didn't we have him on our Sanga one time, telling about, yes, about his cooking classes. I just now remembered. So Dhirasanta Maharaj was feeling a bit dissatisfied with his disciples' cooking. And so he decided, well, there's only one solution. I have to teach them how to cook. So he would give classes for his disciples how to cook. I thought, wow, that's cool. Talk about teaching by example. Yeah, so our prayers are with Dhirasanta Goswami Maharaj, that he returns to the shelter of Lord Krishna with Srila Prabhupada. And our prayers for his disciples and followers, that they continue in his shelter and continue with their Krishna bhakti culture as they have learned from their guru and from Srila Prabhupada and from our acharyas. The other sad news is that our, I would call him in important ways, mentor, Ashtarata Prabhu, whom I visited just a few weeks ago, has been diagnosed with cancer, with pancreatic cancer, and which is notorious for being very fast spreading and, practically speaking, incurable. He didn't know about this until after I visited him. I spoke to him about 2 or 3 days ago on the phone. And I must say, he's just an amazing person. He was preaching to me. He was preaching like, yeah, we have to accept, sooner or later we all have to go. And so this is his mood, is okay, Krishna wants me to go. And he was preaching, he said, first thing we heard from Srila Prabhupada, Dehinosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jara. So it was, it was difficult, and at the same time it was a bitter sweetness speaking with him on the phone. He was remembering things from many years ago, he told me that now that he's kind of knows, it's just a matter of maybe a few weeks. He's been recollecting his devotional life, and he has been times in the course of his life. Some of you may know, others of you may not. He was the head pujari in Schloss Reddershof. He was there, well, since day one, we can say. Actually, I first met him in Hamburg in 1972. He was pujari there. And then when we established a temple in Schloss Reddershof near Frankfurt, he was the head pujari. And I was assistant pujari in 1975. And he was, we can say, a strict taskmaster. There was no room for being lax, for being undisciplined in that service with Ashtarata. But it was nice. It was always, there was always a sweetness to the mood, a strict kind of sweetness, I would put it like that. And then later in Singhachalam, he continued serving Radha Madan Mohan, and then I was asked to oversee the worship of Nrsingadev. But it was always under his leadership, his guidance. And at some point, well, let's see, then Radha Madan Mohan moved to Golokadam. I don't remember the history now, but at some point, Ashtarata made a rather major decision in his life. He stepped away from ISKCON, and he took shelter of Haridas Shastri, who is of a Vaishnava sampradaya other than ours. And he has been engaged in that community ever since. But my point here is that speaking with Ashtarata 2 or 3 days ago, he said how much he appreciates Srila Prabhupada, how much he feels that it was Srila Prabhupada who brought him to Krishna consciousness and eventually led him to the person he felt he needed to take shelter of for continuing his devotional life. Anyway, our prayers are also with Ashtarata Prabhu. Certainly that in his last weeks, he can remain fixed as he is in his service, which now will certainly go very much internal. And also for his community, that they will continue in his absence. He's established a wonderful ashram, a purpose-built temple in the hills of Western Slovenia for his very beautiful. I believe what's happened is that Radha Govinda, after being established by him, have decided, well, now you've done the needful in this world. So there's no need for you to remain. Now you can come back and serve us um, in our abode. That I said that to Asharata. He said, "Yeah, it seems like that." Krishna, Krishna. So all of these sad departures, of course, remind us that uh, we're all in line sooner or later, and that's why we're practicing bhakti, Krishna consciousness. I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but there's a connection there, an awareness of our mortality and awareness of our need to serve the Lord in this life, in the next, wherever we go from here. Other news we had, as probably most, if not all of you know, we had a very nice Gauranga retreat in the hills or mountains of West Serbia. What's the name of that area?
Divchibare.
Divchibare. Yeah, Divchibare. His Holiness Sachinandan Swami was there. And also, after some days, Bhaktiananda Tirtha Swami Maharaj was also present. He's a very amazing devotee. Our Croatian Swami, yeah, Croatian Swami who has lived in America many years. In one lecture he gave, he was telling about his experience as the president of the San Diego temple. He said when he became the president, they asked him to become the president, so he did. He agreed. He said, "Now I want to see the accounts. First thing is look at the money." And he said what he realized very quickly was if they continue as they are doing, they're going to lose the temple because they're running in debt and it's just going to get worse. So he said, now every department of the temple is going to have to reduce. Everything is going to have to be simplified. We absolutely have to spend less money if we're going to survive, including the deity department. And he said, therefore, from now on until some indefinite time, no more flowers for the deities. So he said, then immediately the temple became two different political parties. the pro-flowers and the anti-flowers groups. He said the pro-flower argument was, if we just go on worshiping Krishna nicely with flowers, he will certainly provide us with all that we need, which sounds, yeah, isn't that our philosophy? Well, the anti-flower party, which Bhaktiananda Tirtha Maharaj was a member of, said, well, we've been worshiping them with flowers now since a long time. So where's the money? So eventually he prevailed and they were able to save the temple. So the temple is still going on and it's a beautiful temple they have, very close to the beach. Yes, and a couple of other things I wanted to share with you. One, this is something Prema Sarovara will know about, and Sitarani and maybe Gopi Krishna. Let me show something which Prema Sarovara sent, if I can.
Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. I was going to show this letter that you sent. Let's see, preview. It doesn't want to show. Oh, it won't show previews, so I have to show it. Oh, wait. There it is. Yeah. So, letter of appointment for Chinese poem, which I can't read except with English translation, with virtue radiant and conduct exemplary, you stand as a model for all, like a vernal breeze gracing the seat. Peaches and plums bloom with fragrance. Okay. How would this sound in Mandarin, Prema Sarovar?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please allow me to read it. 修利
Yes.
书院导师聘书，肯尼斯瓦佩先生，诚聘您担任修利书院导师。明德易行，师表群伦，春风入座，好礼清分。院长张应平拱手。Hare Krishna.
Signed by President Zhang Yingping.
Yes.
Zhang Yingping.
Yes, the driver who drove us to the train station.
Oh, he was our driver.
Yes,
Okay.
very thin. The
Yeah,
man
yeah.
is very thin, very silent.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually I think this is significant. This institute we visited this last time, this last spring. We had participated in a program at this Śrīla Institute, which is a kind of, how would you say, Confucian traditional learning institute, something like that. A beautiful facility in the hills of, what is it, Anhui province? Is that how you pronounce Prema Sarovar? Anhui?
Anhui Guru Maharaj.
Anhui.
Yes.
Anhui. Yeah.
Yes,
And
good.
So the point is they're inviting me to be what they're calling a mentor. What's the Mandarin for mentor?
Guru Maharaj 导师.
Oh, just Lao Shi. Lao Shi just means
teacher.
huh?
导师.
Teacher, yeah. Lao Shi.
Mentor
Okay.
means 导师.
Huh? Say again.
导师.
Lao Shi. Okay.
Guru Maharaj,
So,
老师
yeah,
means teacher.
I know, yes. So the point is, this is significant because it kind of gives me an official position in China. So it'll be possible to go there. They're inviting me, just come and stay, and you can teach about Indian culture and something like that. So we will do something this next time in the spring. Maybe have a Bhagavad Gita, little Bhagavad Gita seminar, something. Yeah. Do you want to say something about this, Prema Sarovar?
Guru Maharaj, thank you so much for your lecture this year, and they like your lecture very much. So I think Professor Wenjun recommend you to be the mentor there.
Yeah.
And with you being their mentor, Bhakti culture, our Krishna consciousness will be preached there. That's Professor Wenjun's plan.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
thank you. You've made it all possible.
It's you. Looking forward to
Okay,
your visit.
and yes. One more thing I wanted to do is to thank all of you devotees who have been and will be contributing for book production. Katyayani has sent me a report about our cottage industry, as we call it, that Rasodari Hari is overseeing, managing. And I saw there's so many of you, and some others are giving regular donations, and that's a big help. Srila Prabhupada once said, if you ever get money, print books. So that's what we're trying to do. In a very small way, but in some way like that. I have to share. So, anyone else? Some news? Some show and tell, or anything showing, anything telling? Boma Vrindavan, Hare Krishna.
Wow, this is Guru Maharaj. I do
Are
have.
you in Novi Sad?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
I'll
so
see
we will
you
see you there this next week. Yes?
Yes, in a few days. I thought you were coming yesterday.
That was false information.
Look at this. I was looking forward so we could celebrate Independence Day.
Independence Day?
Yeah, 4th of July.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm trying to forget everything about
No, I'm joking. But peach cobbler would be nice. But I
Anyway,
do have yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
I do have show and tell, but I need to share my screen. I want to share something that I made, but I guess, hold on. Oh, I guess I can share my screen. Oh, I guess I cannot. Let me see. Let me try again. Otherwise, oh, do you see it?
Yeah, we see something.
Okay, do you see it now?
Start your journey.
Yeah, so I made this, I used AI and I made this kind of like a website or application, whatever you want to call it, that lets you explore the connection between different verses in Bhagavad Gita. But for this, when I started doing this, I got a little obstacle that it didn't let me use Prabhupada verses at a time because they're copyrighted. But I guess like later on it says I can use it. But anyways, I can just show it, and then later on I will be adding the verses. So on here on the left side, there is chapters and verses from Bhagavad Gita. And then you can drag this on this canvas. You can drag these verses, and then there is a suggestion connections here. But then the other thing is like you can drag another verse. If there is a connection, they would connect. And then here, if you click this show for connected verses, there's going to be more verses connected. And then here, auto range, they're going to arrange in this kind of like a nice tree. But then, and here is different connections here. And then, like, let's say there is a verse that is not connected. You can connect by dragging these nodes to another verse. And then here, there is connection types. You can add a custom connection and a custom color. And then you can add the explanation. And then let's add a, like, let's call it test. And then, oh no, we have, okay. Let's say car. And then there's a connection created, the node. And then if you don't want that connection, you just click here and remove the connection. But then if you click on the verse that is on the canvas, like here you get a theme, and then Sanskrit, transliteration, translation, and the purport, and then another verses that are connected, and then more suggested verses. And then if you click here, that verse is going to be connected. And these verses, they're not kind of like blurred like the other ones. They have the strongest connection. And then another thing is that you can save this. Okay, let's go with KKS, Krishna Kshetra Swami. And then you can save the network. And then you can, like, let's say you come again, and then you can load from the saved networks, like here. There is also, you can search the verses. Whatever you type, like few letters, there's going to be results. And then you can add that verse to the canvas. There is also a dark mode, if anyone prefer a dark mode. And then there is also, you can view it on mobile, but it's not, you can't really do that much on a mobile as you can do on the desktop because of the small screen. The next feature that I'm gonna do is to be able to write like, let's say there's connections somewhere to write the notes about the verse or about that connection or reflections.
When you say connection, you showed there were different types of connection, each one with a color code. What sort of connections are they?
Each one of there's a practical, thematic, narrative, conceptual, devotional, philosophical, and then you can create your custom connections if you don't like these connections. And then you can move the verses around like this, and then each these nodes there is a connection type, and then if you do not like those connections here, then you can just like uncheck here, and the nodes are removed or put them back. Or if you made a mistake, you can go here like, oh no, I made a mistake, and then you can just like click here, and then you can go back.
Mhm.
And then also another feature that I want to include, that you can export these, and then the biggest feature is adding Prabhupada's verses from Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita.
Mhm. Quite amazing. So everyone can prepare a Bhagavad Gita class
Right.
just by using your program.
Yeah, pretty much. I hope so. I mean, it's not done yet. It's like probably like 80 to 90% done. It's just creating the proper connections from Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita.
What about starting with a specific theme and with no specific verse? Let's say you wanted to do something on sacrifice, yajna. Would there be a way to do that? You say, this is what I want to talk about. Give me some verses.
Yeah, sorry, I haven't thought about the theme, but I wrote it down to add it as a next feature. So whoever has a suggestions, do not hesitate and reach out to me on WhatsApp. I guess for the verse you can search here, and then it would okay, let's have this like Arjuna despair, and then you can just you can add it. But the themes, honestly, I haven't thought about that one, but that's a good one.
Of course, you can just go to Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, the index, and look under, for example, yajna, and there you are. You have so much there. That's also possible. Or you pick out one verse, chapter 3, verse 10, Sahayagya Praja Shishtva, and then go from there, making connections, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
I have another, one app is designed, but it's not ready to show yet. And another one, I have an idea. It's in my head. And that one is about, I don't remember when did you send this, but I guess it was a long time ago, about the reflection. So I was reading that, and why do we need to reflect, and how to reflect, and that one is really interesting. It's been kind of like in my mind for a while. I have an idea. I just need to visualize it. I mean, I have like a basic visualization. I just need to put the pieces together.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's my show and tell.
That's your show and tell. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're being very creative in a good, useful way.
Well, yeah, you know what? I'm thinking like, okay, so like on one side, okay, it's kind of like a service, but on other ways, it's AI. Like, how much water did I spend? Yeah, that's another thing.
How much water?
Yeah, because the AI, like the data centers that they're
Oh,
building,
yeah. They're using a lot of water just to keep the
yeah,
machines cool. Yeah, that's
yeah,
an issue.
exactly.
That is an issue.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could say yes, but it's for a good purpose, a spiritual purpose.
I guess.
Whereas a lot of AI is being used for a lot of unnecessary purposes.
Right.
Anyway, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I meant to say back to the subject of this summer retreat, Gauranga retreat. Our subject, what I had as a seminar, was Canto 5, a dive into Canto 5. And by now, what we're all about, encouraging devotees to write. So we did some discussion on Bhagavatam in general and fifth canto, specifically. And we had devotees do some creative expression. And on the last day, we had some of the devotees prepared rap songs, rap poetry, and we performed on the last evening. Yeah, it was fun. Rap about Canto 5, taking one verse and then turning it into a rap song. Were you there for that?
I had other service.
You were always busy with other things. Right. Okay, what else? Anyone else? Any news? Any views? Mangala, connected to Dhirasanta Goswami. There's a very nice book written at the end that Rupa Sanatan was reading to the boys many times over and over. They all loved it. Here is the book. Good, thank you for calling attention to this. Is this wisdom, reality, illusion? We can order the book. Book number 1 for the sincere seeker. Parables of the world penetrating the very heart, collected by a wandering monk, help you believe in your strength to be optimistic and full of gratitude. 5 reasons to buy inspirational stories right away. The best gift ever, assistance in raising children, improving relationships, answers to questions, communication with a holy man. And there we are. Nice. So, Mangala Chandrika, do you remember any of the stories?
I'm sure the boys do. That was my time for peace in the evening. But I do remember that that book was there on the shelves for quite a long time. So I think because it's short stories and then this lesson, so they could go through a few of them. And it's also for like older children. It's not only for small children. So yeah, I remember that. And actually, the first encounter I had sort of with Maharaj indirectly was through his son. He has a very nice son called Govinda Kishore. And yeah, very, very sweet person. He connected with our boys also very nicely. And then he told me some of his story, and he's now with his wife taking care of some aspects of Bhakti-Vedanta College in Hungary. So very dedicated person, young man. So yeah, we had some exchanges.
Very good, very good. Okay, well, we could go on to Nectar of Devotion, unless there is something else from anyone. Don't be shy. Okay, so first I have to dig up the file. We need some searching for files, background music. 912. Okay, and this. It's very long files. We are still in the, which one is this? We're still talking about friendship, and we go back to share screen, and okay, here we are. Move this up here. Okay, this is a continuation of something I have to, where am I? Okay, the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are one's life and soul. One will not give up his shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, even for a single moment. And then he continues, even in exchange for the benediction of ruling the entire universe or taking the post of a devata. So that's from 11th Canto, Chapter 2, 53. And this is friendship, and if I remember correctly, the point was that one can be friends with the Lord. Maybe to review a bit, Draupadi says, "Oh, Govinda, remembering again and again, you maintain my life." And then in all kinds of tribulations, I simply remember your promise, and thus I live. Okay, this was all part of Vishvasa, which is firm conviction. The Lord is my benefactor and friend, and my only shelter. From him only I get maintenance and protection. I take solace in his promise of protection in all difficulties, and I will not give up his shelter for any material opulence. So it's a kind of firm determination as well. And then this other aspect of friendship, the second type of devotional friendship, is to become a well-wisher of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that's called mitra. Yeah, there are probably many terms for friends. One is suhrit, which has the sense of being good-hearted And sometimes it's considered the strongest friendship. There's bandhu, which has the sense, if I remember right, of being like a relative. And then there's mitra, and apparently that's what's being defined here as being a well-wisher of the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is preaching the confidential message of the Gita to the people in general is so dear to Krishna that no one can be equal to him in human society. So that's a kind of well-wishing. In regard to worshiping the Lord as a friend, the Agastya Samhita states that a devotee engaged in performing devotional service by Shravanam and Kirtanam sometimes wants to see the Lord personally, and for this purpose, he resides in a temple. And I see this is within the very long purport to these two verses of Prahlad Maharaj telling his father what he has learned in school. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam Iti, let's see if I remember, Iti Pung Sarpita Vishnu Bhaktis Chen Navalakshana. And then what's the next half? Bhagavat Yadha, something Bhagavat Yadha. Oh, Kriyeta Bhagavat Yadha. Tanmanye Aditam Uttamam. So that's Prahlad saying, this is the best education. Aditam Uttamam is that one should do these 9 practices. And one of the 9 is Sakyam. So that's being explained here. Agastya Samhita. And it points back to the first 2 of the items, Shravanam and Kirtanam. Says sometimes one wants to see the Lord personally. Therefore, one resides in the temple. Why? In the temple, that's where the Lord is present personally. Okay, Nectar of Devotion, a person who is dedicated to serving the Lord and out of friendship sees and treats him as a human, lies down in the Lord's temple. Seems like we talked about this, but okay. Now, someone is going to say, isn't that an offense to lie down in the temple? What would you say to that? Anyone? It looks like a contradiction. I don't see who all is there now because I'm showing this. Anyone want to speak out a comment? Is this a problem?
Guru Maharaj, if I can say, it depends on the intention.
In Jagannath Puri, even the lying position is a dandavat.
Isn't it also isn't it that in Navadvip in Sridham Mayapur, sleeping is also considered like Dandavat Pranam?
What is my position? I'm sleeping here every night. No.
Before Lord Jagannath.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, it depends on the intention. What should the intention be?
I mean, if if a person is dedicated, he is dedicated or she is dedicated to serving the Lord, then there is no problem in that regards. But it's because I don't have nothing, nowhere to sleep, and I need to, be somewhere through the night, and the temple is the only option. It's more because of myself than for the Lord's pleasure.
Yeah, but what if you do have no other place to sleep? Isn't that going to end up being a blessing?
Yeah, that's also there true.
Johannes, what do you say?
I remember a devotee who lived in the temple in New York told me that once in the ashram where he was staying when he was a brahmachari, they had bed bugs, so they had to sleep in the temple room to take actual shelter there. That was the only safe place to sleep. So that brought him closer to the deities, he said.
So the bed bugs drove the devotees into the temple.
Yeah, so they took shelter there, and it worked.
And then the bed bugs left of their own.
I imagine maybe there was some measures that had to be taken, but for the immediate relief, the temple was the safe spot for them.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Oh, here we get more explanation. Lying down in the temple should be classed as raga-nuga sadhana because of disregard for vaidhi sadhana. However, attraction for feelings of friendship is cultivated in both raga-nuga sadhana and vaidhi sadhana. Okay. Vaidhi sadhana, that's where the rules are, because it's vidhi, vaidhi. And the vidhi is not to make offenses to the deity, one of which would be lying down in the temple in the sense of not respecting. You could say we lie down every time, at least the male devotees make dandavat pranams, but we don't stay lying down to get comfortable. We are, and that's a case also of intention, you could say. Summary of Mitra, I am the well-wisher of the Lord, like him. I want to help others and relieve their distress. I especially show my friendship with the Lord by teaching others of his glories and the secret of surrender to him. I want to relieve the Lord of any inconvenience out of friendship. I may also in friendship see the Lord in intimacy with informality. Okay, so there can be different aspects of friendship. Preaching is showing friendship, sharing Krishna with others, relieving of any inconvenience. So that's typically related with deity worship, but one may think of other instances. And then some expressions of intimacy may be there. What does Arjuna say in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 in this regard about his intimacy with the Lord?
He's apologizing.
Yes, Bhakti Granta Prabhu says he's apologizing to the Lord. He's saying, I'm so sorry, I've been sitting with you and I've been joking with you and even lying down in the bed together, just relaxing. What's wrong with me? Now that I see who you really are, that you are this cosmic being, what can I do? I have to apologize. Okay, we're still going through 64 items of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. One should offer everything to the Lord. That is called Atmanivedanam, considering oneself the possession of the Lord. These are interesting images. Self is sometimes considered to refer to the spirit self or soul, and self is sometimes considered to refer to the mind or to the body. Full self-surrender, therefore, means not only surrendering oneself as spirit soul, but also surrendering one's mind and body to the service of the Lord. So the word being translated as self is very much likely to be Atma, and Atma has this kind of basic general sense of self in this, not in the technical sense of the being who is different from the body. But self just means, like we say in English, myself, yourself, can be a sort of emphasis. I will do it myself. You don't need to help me, I will do it myself. In that sense. And then it develops, according to Indologists, it takes on this more philosophical sense of self as the spirit soul, as Prabhupada calls it. But it can also mean, as is explained here, it can refer to the mind and it can refer to the body. And sometimes in the Bhagavad Gita, this seems to be the case. So that can be a little confusing. But here the point is just, okay, it can mean these different things. So that means whatever we identify as self, because we do sometimes identify body and mind with our identity. So, okay, that's also belongs to the Lord. And therefore, that is self-surrender. Offering the body as Atma is illustrated in Bhakti Viveka. This is from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Just as one does not worry about an animal that has been sold, one should offer this body to the Lord and be disinterested in its maintenance. In other words, one should not bother about his personal or family maintenance or sustenance. If one is actually surrendered in body and soul, he should always remember that his only concern is to be engaged in the service of the Lord. All right, here we are again with maybe something we might find a bit of a contradiction in. So here's a statement that don't bother with maintenance of your body. On the other side, we have Prabhupada saying, your first priority is to maintain your health. So, is this a contradiction? Anyone want to respond?
Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna, I just remembered reading about these last two processes of devotional service in the fourth canto. When I think it was this King Malayadvaja, he was explaining to his chaste wife Vaidarbi, and Prabhupada commented how he first explained just the first 7 processes, and the 2 other processes, so Sakyam and Atmanivedanam, were explained later. And he mentions how these are part of Raga Bhakti. So, I mean, just shortly, the thought could be that they naturally help in a healthy way develop once one has the maturity of one's relationship actually with the Lord. So one actually understands how to take properly care of oneself. And so this understanding of my body is the Lord's and not my own comes from maturity and not from neglecting the body without responsibility. So it might perhaps externally look like disregarding the body, but I guess because of this strong attachment to the Lord and in a relationship, it is not it is not irresponsible. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it is something to do with maturity and proper attitude and not just renouncing prematurely like that.
So I will eat breakfast because, all right, I guess I have to eat because I have to maintain the body because it's not my body. It's Krishna's body.
Yeah. And otherwise I can't
Something
function.
like that. And
Yeah.
otherwise I can't function. Yeah. Okay. Good. Anyone else? This example of a souled animal is there, and I've always a little bit wondered about this from an animal ethics perspective. Selling an animal, unfortunately, this often means selling to someone who is going to kill the animal or use or misuse the animal in some way. That's kind of a different subject, but the idea here, of course, is I am the souled animal, or rather this body, I've been sold, but who have I been sold to? To the Lord. So there's, in that sense, nothing to worry about. So actually, devotees are free from anxiety because I'm just a souled animal. Okay. Because he has offered his body to the Lord, he gives up all activities for pleasure in this life and the next, which nourish his body and things related to that body. The Lord then thinks, I desire to make him special. He then attains freedom from death, amritatvam, and attains similarity to me, atmabhuyaya. This means that he attains liberation in the form of attaining his Rūpa and Sarshti, powers like those of the Lord. This is an interesting painting. I don't know if I've seen this one before. Somehow I always, didn't we look at this before? I must say I keep forgetting where we are in this. I like this devotee's hat and this one over here. They have cute hats. It looks like these boys are having a good time. But this one, you can see, is stealing something from Krishna's plate. Yeah. And while we're on the subject of eating, Krishna's eating, it's time for a verse from Surdas. We read this morning for a prasad prayer instead of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Sharira Vidyajal. This is a bit longer. So this is in Brajabhasha. Javat Syam Nandaki Kaniya. Syam feeds in the lap of Nanda. Kachuk Kata Kachu Dharani Gira Avat. Chabi Nirakati Nandaraniya. He eats some, he drops some to the ground. Nanda's wife, beholding his beauty. Nandaraniya, Nandarani. Continues. Bari bara beshan bahu bhantini byanjan bibidha aganiya. Various cooked foods of pulse, which means beans and such, and flour, countless delicacies of varied kinds. And then it goes on. Narada kata leta apane kar ruchi manata dadhi doniya. He throws, he eats, he takes in his hand. The bowls of curd are his favorite. Misri, dadhi, makan, misrita kari, mukha navata chabi daniya. He tosses into his mouth sugar candy, curd and butter mixed in his hand, rich in splendor. So misrita kari mixed in his hand. Then apun kata nand mukh navat so chabi kahata nabaniya. He feeds himself and pops some into Nanda's mouth. His splendor past telling. So beyond description is his what's called chubby in Brajabhasha. So chubby kahatan baniya. It's not possible to tell his beauty, splendor. Joras Nanda Jasoda Bilasata So Nahi Tihum Bhuvaniya. The joy in which Nanda and Yashoda delight is not to be found in the three worlds. And the last line, Bhojana Kari Nanda Achamana Lean ho, Mangata Sur Jutaniya. After eating, Nanda drank a sip of water. Achamana Lean-ho, he took Achman, he did Achman. But it can also mean he sipped water. And then So after eating, Nanda drank a sip of water, and Sur, that is Surdas, the poet, begs for the leftovers. Mangat means begs. Sur, jutaniya, for the leftovers, juta. So he's describing Krishna's eating. He's apparently, he's in the lap of Nanda, and sometimes he's eating. And as small children do, sometimes they don't eat, they throw the food away, right? Yeah. Kachu dharani giravat. And what is Yashoda Mai doing? She's just absorbed in the beauty of her son. So we might remember also how Sachimata, in what we read in the beginning, is absorbed in the charm of her son, even though her son has been breaking everything in the house. She's absorbed in loving him. And at the same time, she was feeling sad. Why was she feeling sad? Was it because he's so restless and mischievous and such a troublemaker? Or is it sadness in anticipation that one day he is going to leave home? That could, or is it a combination of both?
Prema is the combination of both, I read.
Could be the
Separate.
combination. Yes. Hridai Ram says when there's a festival and no place in the filma, no place, we must sleep in the temple room. We used to sleep in the temple room as, in the Amsterdam temple. I just now remembered. That's funny how we remember things. It was always the duty of the priest, of the pujari, to sleep in the temple. The pujari was supposed to protect the deities, and therefore he was always supposed to sleep in the temple. I think we did that. Did we do it in Schloss Rettershof? Gosh, I don't remember now. I think so. That was part of our service. So there we are. I'm going to say goodbye in a minute after I check. I think we can meet next week also for whoever is available. Yeah, should be possible. I will be in Novi Sad, the new city. That is our plan. And now I'm going to go for lunch at the home of Vainateya and Avantika, who should be arriving.
Yeah, they are around.
Oh, they're already here?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
A question before we quit.
Okay, there's a question from Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu.
Yes, this morning when you was kindly reading, I remember one very sweet and nice incident how the Krishna, when he was in the lap of his father, sometimes he
You want to
gave him
come,
also the
if you come closer,
okay.
they can hear your question.
They can, yes. So, Maharaj, you kindly narrate this story also this morning before we took breakfast. You was reading, and I remember one detail. Maybe now I mishear it or didn't catch it, but it was so sweet and nice how the Lord Shri Krishna, when he was sitting in the lap of his father, the father was feeding him, but it's described in one moment he also gave a bite to his father, isn't it?
Yes, that was there. We read that.
We read it.
Yeah, yeah. It says specifically, yeah, he feeds himself and he pops some into Nanda's mouth. Apun kata. So that means kata is eating. Apun is from apana, means himself. Nand muk navat. Nanda is Nanda Maharaj. Muk is his mouth. Navata, I guess, means he tossed something into his mouth. Yeah, so that's a very sweet exchange indeed. This is this book I got some years ago. It's called The Hindi Classical Tradition, a Braj Bhasha Reader by Rupert Snell, published by the School of Oriental and African Studies, University of London. And it's, it's a reader. It gives a nice introduction on the history of the language, and it has several pages about the grammar, and then about prosody, that is about the rhythms of the meters, and then an overview of Braj Bhasha literature. Some of the authors are described briefly, and then comes readings. And it has even a little dictionary in the back. It kind of assumes some familiarity with Hindi, and there's no transcription. Everything which is in Brajabhasha is in Devanagari script, so one needs to be able to read that. But it has translations of not all of the texts, but some of the texts are translated, and others. Most of them are translated, actually. So it's quite a good book. Oh, it's quite many different, and it's different styles of writing. Index of epithets and motifs, and a glossary. Anyway, Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining us, and we wish you a wonderful week. Stay safe and stay sane, and try to chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai.
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 Thank you to our translators ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Gurudev.
Jai Guru Maharaj.
Maharaj
Thank you, Guru
ki
Maharaj.
jai.
Thank you very much.
Vaishnavas Namo Namaha.